choices, your actions. That's what makes you who you are.
Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation.
And today we're covering the film everyone has been eager to see for a couple years now, James Gunn's Superman movie.
Yes, perfect for November because we are grateful for Superman.
Yes.
James Gunn's first film in this newly rebooted DC universe shows Superman going against Lex Luthor yet again.
Of course.
After the latter has shaken Superman's image of being a hero to Metropolis. Now with the help of the new Justice Gang, yes, the Justice Gang.
Yes, literally.
And Lois Lane, he will rise and show the world his hope never fades. But
before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, notifications with a future podcast and all the past videos.
And thank you so much for joining us today, sharing our videos, commenting. We appreciate everything you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Now we have been wanting to do this for a while. We just weren't able to manage to find a place to fit it in.
Right.
Without going to the extra days of the week.
Right. And as you said, we're not only good for Superman, we're also good for these superhero movies still being made, and each having their own different quality. And we were curious on how this one would be because we know James Gunn's background with the Marvel Universe. So we're really looking forward to a DC movie by him for this new DC cinematic universe.
Yes, and there had been so much talk of this for a while, and also it was pitted against Fantastic Four, First Steps, which is a totally different movie, and we don't think there's a competition. They're two different movies.
Which was the first time you've seen people say, "Well, just watch both; they're both good." And I'm like, oh, that's literally the first time I've ever seen that.
And we definitely agree. And what really tilted us in favor of watching this movie is that we actually saw an interview between David Cornsweet and Christopher Reeve's son, which I'm sorry I don't recall his first name. But we saw an interview between them on YouTube for free, and it was about 20 minutes. And we just really liked Cornsweet.
Yes.
He seems very genuine. He definitely seems like a person who would be a great Superman before we saw it.
Yes.
And I've always said to Rascal, you know, for me, and if you agree, let us know in the comments. If you don't, let us know. I think every performer or actor they've chosen to play Superman, whether it's being theatrical or on TV, has fit. They always have to have this part of their personality that comes through that's, everyone always says, Boy Scout. But it's just something genuine that comes through in their personalities that gives you the impression, yeah, I could see you as Superman. And Cornsweet did that when we were watching the interview. And after the interview, we said, okay, we got to watch the movie.
Yes.
So we did. Now, for those of you who may not be as familiar with Superman 2025, it's a superhero film, of course, based on Superman. And we've mentioned, written and directed by James Gunn. And it's the first film in his new DCU. And it's actually a reboot of the entire Superman film series. And as we mentioned, David Cornsweet stars as Clark Kent Superman, along with some other stars we'll mention later. And in this film, he faces unintended consequences after he intervenes in an international conflict.
A different one.
Orchestrated by billionaire Lex Luthor. We found that to be an odd plot line for a Superman movie.
Right. And it turns out, in actuality, there are several plots in this movie.
True.
And part of it is because we had heard, long before the movie came out, James Gunn decided, you're not going to see Superman's origin in here in the movie. It's already going to be a few years into being the Superman persona. It had been, I think 3 years. I think 3 years that he's been Superman. You're not going to see his origin. You're not going to see him grow up with the Kens. You're not going to see him become Superman. He already is, because we've seen the story done ad nauseum in every media. It's public knowledge and is no longer necessary to show. So for this movie, it says to start off in the middle of a plot or, in this case, a battle scene, and go from there. So it's like you're seeing the continuation of an episode, but you don't see what happened before. That
Right.
you gotta have to watch it like that. Like, that's an interesting choice to go.
But you know, it does work because it's true. There isn't anybody, I don't think, on this planet that's above the age of 5 that doesn't know who Superman is. So in that instance, I think it was okay. And it did work. So we're going to tell you what we found that really worked for us, that we really enjoyed, and a few things we thought could be better. This is not going to be a bashing of the movie because it was not bad.
Right.
We actually are going to give it a pretty good rating, and you'll be surprised.
Right.
So it originally released July 7th at the Chinese Theater in Los Angeles, and then on the 11th nationwide. The movie runs 129 minutes. It had a budget of $225 million, and I think so many people were just excited to see another Superman movie. It grossed over $616 million
Yes.
at the box office.
Yes.
So it did very well. It didn't reach the billion that people were hoping for, but gosh darn, $616 million
Right.
is
It's
a whole
lot.
lot of money. And if you've seen the movie, you'll know I said gosh darn.
Yes.
So, as we said, Corn Sweat did a fantastic job as being Superman.
Yes,
he was
very.
believable. He looks like Superman. Of course, people, is he attractive? Yes, he's attractive. But the thing that impressed us the most was his performance. And again, how parts of his personality you could see coming through based on the interview that we saw.
Right.
He does a great job. He's a good actor. We were very, very happy because
Yes.
that was our biggest fear, that we wouldn't like the performance.
Yes.
But we did, and we're grateful.
Yes, that's one of the best parts of the film.
Absolutely.
And another thing would be is that they adapted multiple comic stories for this, which is really the status quo for a lot of these adaptations, because you really now need to do more than one to tell a story because they're so short sometimes. And if you know the comics that Gunn is adapting and combined together, then this could turn out to be a very good adaptation to a new story. And for ones who do not know the character, they might be a little lost in the beginning, but they have the opening, well, not a scroll, but opening text, I guess, to catch you up, and then you see his character throughout the film. And I do like that he still stays to his beliefs. He still sticks to having justice and good winning in the end
And
throughout
morals
the
and
film.
values.
So that is still prevalent throughout the whole movie. Even when the villains are crossing way over that line as you're watching it.
So, here's the question. Everyone was going to be comparing him to Henry Cavill, which isn't fair. Does he do a good job? Yes. And as I mentioned, I think each actor that has portrayed Superman has done a fantastic job. Each one has brought to the table his own personality and his own interpretation of the character. And for me, every actor has done a great job.
Yes.
And every actor fit for the time period in which they were performing the role of Superman.
Right.
Somehow they've cast it perfectly for the Superman role.
Yes.
So he can't be compared to Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill, Man of Steel was darker and more depressing.
Yeah,
and we
right,
own
yeah.
it. And I bought it not knowing what it was going to be like.
Right.
But it's not one of my favorite movies. He did a fantastic job. But for people who like stress and violence
More
and
darker,
right.
grittier type superhero movie.
and a more depressing, is other way to put it, atmosphere, then it's the perfect Superman movie for you.
Right.
But there are different performances in different movies. They're not to be compared. Each is great in his own way.
Yes.
So now we'll get to Lex Luthor. And we know Lex Luthor's actor portrayed Beast in the sequel X-Men movies. No, I'm
Yes,
sorry,
those-
the original X-Men
But
movies.
one of those prequels?
Yes,
The
thank
prequel
you.
one,
Duh.
yeah. Right.
X-Men movies played by Nicholas.
Holt.
Yes.
And one thing that kind of stood out to me when reading about who's playing who is that he based performance on Michael Rosenbaum playing Luthor in Smallville. And you're going to get a lot of Smallville vibes in here. It stays majority lighthearted movie, but you can tell they took a lot of inspiration elements and the darker parts from Smallville. Maybe that was Gunn's favorite or someone else's favorite on here, and they took a lot from here. Because when it gets to those dark scenes, they get super dark.
Yeah.
And with Luthor, I think they changed his character because they wanted to have a more updated version of him. Like if you watch the cartoon, which they claim is based on, he's more calculating. He puts on a face for the public. You know he's a crap guy, but somehow he still gets into these politics and businesses and still has his way.
Money.
Right. But in here, it's obvious he's a douche. That's pretty much it. It's very obvious.
True.
But no one does anything about it because they can't prove it. It's like, but it's obvious. You see him pulling crap all the time.
And I think one thing that really stuck out for me when we were seeing some reviewers and people talking about the movie is they failed to mention how violent Lex gets in here. And I don't know if it's because they didn't want people not to watch it or people not to know. But spoiler here, if you haven't seen it, it's coming up. This is the first time we've seen Lex Luthor take someone out. And he puts a weapon to their head and pulls the trigger. Yes. And I think that just right there, that was one of the things that really stunned me when it happened. I was speechless and I couldn't believe they went that far with Lex Luthor's character. And he's not a joke in here. No. He's not likable. He's not an anti-hero. He's not to be admired.
No.
I guess Gunn wanted you to know clearly you're not supposed to like him.
Right.
And you don't.
And one of the few things that really didn't care for in there is that after that scene, they make a joke out of it. Like, I guess they're trying to say the villains were cruel and they were mocking it, but I think it was still in bad taste to put that out because no one saw it coming. And then a couple of the characters kind of make a joke that he took out the character, like, oh, no big deal, he was so and so. And they're like, I don't think this is the right time to put levity in after doing that to a civilian character. It felt like that wasn't the right time. But yes, we know it's not real.
Unless the point was to make sure you understood.
That's what I'm thinking.
He is evil. A bad guy. Don't like him.
Yeah, and it was like, no. But
and maybe they were thinking about people liking the actor as Beast and in other roles, including it was a Jack the Giant Slayer.
Yeah.
So I guess we're going to make sure you don't like him because of previous roles.
I guess
and maybe that's why. That's a guess. If you guys know for sure, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Now we get Lois Lane, performed by Rachel Brosnahan. And we were not familiar with her. We learned that she performs in Miss Markle, the famous or fantastic.
Something it's on Amazon.
Right.
Miss Mabel.
We've never watched it. If you want to correct us, do it so in the comments. We appreciate it. But we weren't familiar with her. And she was an okay Lois. I mean, she didn't stand out, but I do like that she wanted to help Clark. I mean, Superman.
Both, yeah.
And
she knows. Oh, yeah, that's right. She knows.
Well, I'm going to say Superman in this instance. She wanted to help him. She wanted to be a helpmeet, not competing with him, not trying to show she's a better woman, and things like that. She didn't behave like that, and I really did appreciate that. And as you mentioned, she knows at this point in this movie that he's Superman. So you see them doing their slice of life bits in the movie a little bit. And at one point they had some conversation about politics and values and things. Yeah, we're going to be honest with you guys, we fast forwarded. That's not what we were watching Superman 2025 for. And that's the only part of the movie we did not watch and we skipped because like, no, we're not here for this. We don't want to debate about any of that junk. And we skipped it and went to immediately after it.
Yeah, and yes, it was meant to put in a dose of reality in there because it's still supposed to be in some type of reality for the DC universe. And for you said, yes, there have been conflicts like that in DC in the comics and the animated series and the other movies prior. They have had it. It's just this movie is marketed as being the opposite of Zack Snyder's films, where it's more upbeat, more fun, more joyful. Hope is their key point here, besides crypto, of what they want to advertise the movie as. But the fact that we have to keep putting in the darkness in order to, constantly, I guess you understand the value of the hope, it just didn't work for us for that scene.
Right. Now back to Hope. We wanted to talk about his performance. We saw it was kind of split 50-50. Some loved his performance and some hated it. And some in saying that he did not give that presence. Some compared him to Star Wars Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
As far as a performance.
Because there was a point he kind of went off and had a tantrum. I don't mean make fun of it. He actually went off and
now the
lost
Rascal's
it.
favorite scene, Loser! Where's the dog, Loser?
Oh yeah, no, it's Superman. Where's the dog? Where's the dog?
But it was okay. It wasn't, for us, groundbreaking. It wasn't memorable. But I do think, again, that he got across the impression he's an evil guy, he's bad news, and you're not to like him. I think he performed that well enough to get that message across, along with the scenes and how they were written.
Yeah.
So now we're going to talk about the Justice Game.
Yeah.
And one standout for this, out of two, one was Mr. Terrific.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Gathegi.
I think
that's his name.
And hopefully.
I didn't know anything about Mr. Terrific. We seen him, I think, in one of the movies. Was it the Furious Five?
Fatal 5 movies.
Yeah. And I knew nothing about him. Rascal knew more. But after this, I was like, wow, this character's incredible. He's kind of like Aquaman, where people make fun of Aquaman, but you find out Aquaman is powerful and has all these abilities, and he is a badass. And so is Mr. Terrific. And the person who performed the role actually made you really like him. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of this character and this actor performing.
And he's been one that DC's been using more and more in movies and media, getting him more of a presence because, like you said, the Fatal 5 movie, he was in the original Justice League cartoon, but not there much. But he was in the Fatal 5 film. He's been in more of the animated adaptations of Justice League. He was in the DC Sonic crossover. Now he's in this. He's getting a lot more screen time now. So ones who may have been fans of his for years probably be very happy that he's gotten spotlight and more people are going to recognize
and represent him in a very positive manner.
Yeah.
The actor who performed the role I recognize from X-Men.
Yes.
And from Twilight as one of the rival vampires.
Yes.
So I knew who he was, and I think he did a great job.
Yes.
Another standout, of course, is Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner.
Yes, and he did act like Guy Gardner to a T, only he wasn't so irritating you wanted to turn off the movie. So they made sure he played annoying jerk, but not so annoying where you couldn't stand him on the screen. So they made sure to dial it back enough so he wouldn't be a frustration on screen.
And he's also voiced some characters in the DC animated movies, so he was a great pick for the role.
Right.
Now, one that was controversial is Isabella Merced as Hawk Girl, or Kendra Saunders, and one of the actions she takes in the movies. We're not going to detail because we don't want it to be flagged by YouTube. But we're going to say we did not like her Hawk Girl performance. Yeah. We did not like what she did in the movie. And we don't like what she did to Sha'ira, the character herself. My favorite version of her is the Justice League version. And as I mentioned in a post on X, because she was learning about Earth and values and morals. Yeah, she was a badass. Yeah, she drank and she fought. But she learned the difference between what was right and wrong. And she adjusted her behavior, and she actually had character growth.
Yeah.
This one here, bad news.
Not so much.
And then we learned that the actress actually asked, not only could she perform the role the way she did, but could she do the takeout scene? And they gave her permission. I don't know what that says about the writers, but this is not Hawk Girl. And Hawk Girl was not a murderer.
Right. And for us, it really stands out, not in a good way, because that's another thing that's been happening lately when changing these characters for DC, is that the last few recent portrayals of Hawk Girl have decided to only focus on her war-hungry, battle-hungry, aggressive, abrasive attitude.
Right.
She doesn't really have a personality depending on who writes it, but they really are keeping in where she just wants to fight all the time, fight, look for a fight, look to have a gladiator match. She's constantly looking for battles, constantly looking for conflict, so she has an excuse to use her weapon.
Yeah.
And that's what they've begun to boil down her character to, and a lot of people have said, like, she was more than this. That was just a part, but now that's become her personality. And unfortunately, that's what is the Superman movie too. So unless you're just a fan of Hot Girl period and don't care about the different depictions so long as she's in it, or you're a fan of the actress playing her, then you'll enjoy it. But if not, that's going to be sort of something you won't really care for.
Right. So I mentioned a few of the people quickly. We had Skylar Gisondo as Jimmy Olsen, who we've seen in other movies.
Yes.
Wendell Pierce as Perry White. You had quite a few others, so I'll just go through some of the names quickly. Michaela Hoover as Cat Grant. You had Beck Bennett and Steve Lombard as other staff members of the Daily Planet. Bradley Cooper.
No way.
And Angela Sarafine respectively portray Superman's Kryptonian parents, Jor-El and Laura Vaughn.
Yeah, and that's a big thing right there. If you've seen the movie, very big change to the source. And if you watch Invincible, it's in the same vein as that.
And you had Sarah Sampaio as Eve Techmacher, Luthor's assistant and girlfriend, who is secretly involved with Jimmy. And we thought Mercy was going to be here, but she wasn't.
No.
Instead, they had, what's the name of the character?
I think it's the Engineer, which is a more obscure character, and that's a thing the director really loves to do, take obscure characters and bring them to the light.
And she wasn't likable at all.
Yeah, I don't think that many people cared for her.
And you also had Frank Grillo reprising his role as Argus director Rick Flag Sr.
From the Future Commando show.
Yes. And the real star of the movie, Crypto!
Yes! And that ended up being the biggest part of the movie that they decided to go all in on. When they first dropped that trailer, the very first trailer, everyone was going on and on about Crypto. They loved how cute he was, and him dragging Superman out of the eyes, and him jumping on him and kind of hurting him by accident. And Crypto was the star of the trailer long before that movie came out. There was fan art and gifts and everything for him. Like, the dog became the star.
And some of my favorite scenes involve Crypto. And if you've been on my channel, you've seen the 2R where he knocks the crap out of the Engineer.
Yeah.
And where he mauls Luthor. Those are two of my favorite scenes.
Oh my gosh, and it was hilarious.
And dog actor Jolene stood in for superpowered Crypto, who Gunn described as a not-so-good boy.
Yeah.
And he was primarily created with visual effects and was modeled after Gunn's dog Osu.
Right.
And they did a really good job. You barely at times even realize he's not real.
Yeah.
They did a great job making him seem like he was actually
Right.
a real dog.
Right. And that is one key thing to keep in mind, especially when you get towards the end of the movie, because that's not really a post-credit scene, but more like a character comes in. You've seen it by now. All over the internet. There's a Supergirl movie coming in 2026, and in there, Crypto's going to be in there with her, because it turns out that Crypto, I guess, had more than one owner, I guess, technically, or really
in this movie.
And I say that because when you watch the film, it's kind of obvious. Like, if you own a dog, it's kind of obvious Superman acts different with Crypto than he does in other media, where it's animated or live, where he has Crypto. And Crypto himself loves and adores Superman. He plays around. He wants them to play around. He wants to him to pay attention to him. He wants to go with him. And he loves Superman. But if you're a dog owner, you can kind of tell Superman didn't act like that was his dog, and didn't notice it until the second time around watching. Like, he acts a little distant toward Crypto. He cared, but he didn't act like that was his. So when you got to the reveal of Supergirl at the end, and Crypto is just really playfully aggressive. He constantly hits and plays around. He's a rough dog, like most are. And he does with Supergirl, and she loves it, and that's how they play. That's why he was jumping all over him. And that ended up being like, oh, so that's why he wasn't all that close with Crypto in here.
Right.
So what's he gonna do? Crypto's gonna do for the Supergirl movie, because she plays rough, he plays rough. It's gonna be a lot of action with that.
Yeah. So Superman 2025 was nominated for Most Anticipated Film at the 8th Astra Mid-Season Movie Awards, and the trailer Fight was nominated for Best Summer 2025 Blockbuster Trailer at the Golden Trailer Awards. And as you know by now, it performed fantastically, but now the anime movie Demon Slayer Infinity Castle has knocked everyone out of the running. This movie did perform well, And we would probably give it a B.
Yes.
We would actually give it a B. We were very pleased and very happy that it was entertaining, had very good fight scenes. The photography is beautiful. Cinematography is beautiful.
Yeah.
And again, we're very pleased with Cornsworth's performance. So if you've seen Superman 2025, we know you have. Let us know in the comments. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Was it mid? How do you like Cornsworth as the new Superman? Tell us what you think. And if you haven't seen it, it's available to purchase. It's also available digitally. And you can go on, is it Paramount or HBO Max?
I think it would be HBO Max.
To watch it. Come back and tell us what you think.
And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates, weekly reviews for anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today, subscribing to our channels. We are so grateful for you. Thank you. And as always, you are special.
Thank you so much for watching Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.